At the ultimate wonder of the world's most fearless aerialist attempts the greatest stunt of all time, to be the first to cross the Grand Canyon on a wire, defying a wilderness of unpredictable weather, microclimates, violent updrafts, thunderbolts that seem to come from nowhere, alone, with no harness, no net, no margin of error.
Below that cable is nothing but 1,500 feet down to the little Colorado River. If I don't make it across there, if I were to fall, I'm dying. I'm dead.
One man, this astonishing dream. One chance in a supreme otherworldly balancing act, tailed by the shadow of death. The Wallenda Way. Fearless forever. And welcome back to the Grand Canyon. That is Nik Wallenda. How loose is he right now? He's playing with his nephew, Gavin, inside his trailer just minutes before he attempts to cross the Grand Canyon. For Nik Wallenda, this night has been years in the making, plus a whole lifetime of dreaming. He's attempted to become the first man ever to wire walk across the Grand Canyon with no tether and no safety net.
Now, if there's anything that knocks him completely off that wire, there is nothing to stop his fall. I'm Natalie Morales, joined by my co-host, Willie Geist.
And keeping track of the latest weather conditions all evening for us, Jim Cantori of the Weather Channel. He's stationed over at the start area. Jim.
Hey, well, yeah, we've been watching the weather, especially at Midwire. We just had one of those thermals come up and gusted to about 48 miles per hour. Since then, we haven't gusted hardly at all. But when the winds do pick up, the one little thing I can tell you is, not only can you hear the flag flapping around that's over my head here, but you can also see the pendulums. Remember we talked about that? We've got 20 of these, 40 pounds apiece, scraped across the canyon, and they just start swaying just a little bit. That's at about the 20 to 25 mile per hour range. So something we're going to watch in addition to the winds and how they change from here on the island all the way over to the landing, because throughout the afternoon they have been different. We can be 0 to 10, and you can be gusting to 30 on the other side, kicking up the dust big time. So not only are they variable, but they are also changeable and strong at times. Just 700 feet away. Guys, back to you.
All right, Jim, we'll talk to you in just a minute. 178 nations also joining us tonight live and right here at a site known as Shadow Mountain. Local families watching along with us live on a Jumbotron. It's an area that's typically used as a marketplace, but you can see the excitement, the anticipation. Open to the public tonight. It's turned into an arena of sort as they watch along with us. We're coming to you from a very special corner of the Grand Canyon that belongs to the Navajo Nation. In northwest Arizona, this is the easternmost portion of the Grand Canyon, a spot known as Hellhole Bend.
The biggest headline, Nik won't be wearing a safety tether tonight. As some of you may recall, when Nik made his stunning walk across Niagara Falls last year, he was required to wear a safety tether attached to the wire. But by his own choosing and keeping with the tradition of generations of Wallendas, there is no tether tonight, no net, and if Nik for some reason loses contact with the wire, he will likely fall all the way to the canyon floor.
As for the scale of Nik Wallenda's walk tonight, we thought it might be helpful to give you a little perspective. Nik's wire at 1,500 feet above the canyon floor is skyscraper high, quite literally, and tall as the Empire State Building. The distance of Nik's walk, 1,400 feet. That's longer than 4 football fields.
And for this history-making event, we have top-to-bottom, wall-to-wall coverage via helicopter in the air above, on the towering mesa at the starting line, on a cable cam sitting right above the wire, tracking Nik's every step, and at the finish of Nik's walk, from the very bottom where a paramedic is stationed.
And Nik himself will be wearing 2 cameras as well, providing us a unique, rare bird's-eye view to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. We've also got all the weather angles covered for you with meteorologist Jim Cantori. He is across the canyon once again at the starting line.
Maybe a little bit of good news with this new weather system that's coming into California. You can see some of the high that's moving in. Again, looking down to my south. To the west, it is much, much thicker. And remember, as that moves in, it's going to basically bend the light back upwards as opposed to having it go against those canyon walls and heating it. So that 48 mile per hour gust that we had at the mid-station may not happen again because of these high clouds moving in. Let's take a current look at the gauges again, guys. Remember, we've got weight gauges like this in 4 spots. 9 miles an hour to the southwest where we are here. Southwest at 5, at the midwest, off to the landing and the finish line at 5 as well. So right now we are light and variable. But as has been the case evening after evening here. These winds can kick up and at times gust to 30 miles per hour. Right now, temperature's holding steady at 84 on top. Down at the bottom, it is about 95 degrees. Again, let me familiarize you with this weather station here. It's quite fantastic. And the fact that you have an anemometer, those are the anemometer cups that are spinning around. The arrow up there pretty much moves as the wind direction changes. And right now, with the winds as light as they are, it's not moving at all. This cup right here measures rainfall. It's called a rainfall bucket. It can measure, obviously, the total rainfall, even rainfall rates. So if it were just dumping at 1 to 2 inches an hour, we would actually be able to read that out here. Here's the solar panel that transmits that to the other panel down the bottom, your barometer, your humidity, and your temperature in through here. So quite a dynamic weather station indeed, and the fact that we have 4 of them out through here gives us a pretty good idea of what we got going on all across the canyon. Again, the biggest concern is the wind and how it varies from here. 1,400 feet across. Guys, back to you.
And Jim, the one thing that Nick has said would squash this altogether is lightning in the area. Any indication that we have lightning around us tonight?
Not at all. Remember, we've got the lightning detector in through here, which is set for a range of 8 to 20 miles. There's the blue light on right there. We have not heard a beep from that, and nor do we think we will. Pretty dry skies, even though we got high cloud moving in with a new storm in California.
All right, Jim Cantori with all his toys across the way.
Exactly. Well, when you've only got one chance to get it right, how do you prepare? One way is to make Nick Wallenda walk a wire in the face of 90-mile-per-hour winds.
Next, we're going behind the scenes of Nick's intriguing and, let's be honest, somewhat frightening Florida training camp. Stay tuned. Nick will be gathering for a prayer with his family and then vaulting via helicopter over to the Skywire start line as he aims to make history at the Grand Canyon.